Yo, what's up everyone? Amir Rahim here, owner of Rappin' and Snacking, getting into another hot takes video. These are hot takes by y'all. I'm just going to review them, give my input, and yeah, hit me up on Instagram and TikTok at Rappin' and Snacking. Reminder that these hot takes I took on a poll from Instagram, and I will be doing another poll very soon, so make sure to follow me there so you can cast your opinions. I'll be posting them on the story. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Appreciate y'all. So first off, let's get into one of these hot takes. First one, right off the bat, we got Pizzaronias. Maybe Pizzaronias. I'm guessing that's what that is. Anyways, this person says Kanye West is super overrated and his fans are the worst fan base. So, trying to think here. Is that a hot take? I don't think it's really a hot take. A lot of people say Kanye's overrated. I see that every time I post something Kanye related on any of my channels. It's just how it is. Whenever you get popular, people are going to say you're overrated, or people are going to say you're the best thing since sliced bread. Like, that's just how it works. But then let's get to the next one where this person says his fans are the worst fan base. So this is interesting. And I think that Kanye West definitely does have a pretty terrible fan base, that's for sure. But I don't know if it's the worst, man. Really, like the Eminem fan base is so terrible, and it was so bad. I think earlier in his career, it was just really, really, really bad. Like, people dyeing their hair, people making so many pages, like Stan, like B Rabbit, like stuff like that, blah, blah, whatever. I remember when Odd Future blew up, their fan base was so bad. Oh my God, especially in LA, seeing all those kids around the street. I remember I was in line for one of their shows in LA, and some dude like put his hair, he put a lighter to his hair to burn his hair so he can like get to the front of the line to impress Tyler, the Creator. Like, bro, those fans were crazy. Then we got a bunch of other fans, like Tupac fans can get very annoying. We get fans like, let's see who else. Oh, Griselda fans these days are really annoying, and it's funny because they're not even as big as the artists that I'd mentioned, but some of their fans, they act like hip-hop was dead for 20 years, and when they dropped on the scene, they're the only thing dope from like the 2000s up till when they dropped. So I think that was real corny. But you know, there's a lot of terrible fan bases, to be honest with you, and I know I'm missing quite a few, so drop them in the comments. But Kanye to have the worst fan base, no, but it's definitely among the worst for sure. Let's go ahead and let's keep it Kanye with this next one. We got JPTKC13. Kanye has remained the most relevant rapper of the 21st century and is easily top 3. So honestly, I'm going to agree with some of this. I think that Kanye has for sure remained the most relevant rapper. And if not the most relevant, then for sure in the top 3 most relevant rappers, because he did, well, his first album dropped, was it in 2004 with College Dropout, but he was still producing before then, but this person's talking from a rapping perspective, I suppose, and he is super relevant. He knows how to make headlines. He knows what gets the people going, and I think now it's at a point where he just gets people going whether he's intending to do that or not. I think just anything this guy does is now like polarizing. That's just the way it is with Kanye now. He's just so big that anytime he makes a step, puts out a song, whether it's terrible or really good or phenomenal or whatever, it's getting talked about, and people are either bashing it and wasting their time like hating on the man, or they're just overpraising it, or they're just doing a review. So I think that is a strong case for him to be the most relevant rapper. And then for this person to say easily top 3, I'm going to disagree with that. As far as a rapper in particular, no way. I don't think he's easily top 3. But as far as like output in albums, there is a case to be made. His output from a discography standpoint is incredibly strong, and I think that you're probably a little closed-minded if you think his music is not great. I mean, let's put the person aside, and if you can put the person aside and get, like, you know, the tabloids and the news headlines and all that stuff, if you just put that to the side and we're just talking from a discography standpoint, it's hard to say that his music is not great, you know, because a lot of it really is and some of it isn't, but there is a lot of great stuff in there. So that's it. That's a interesting take. Next up, we got this person named Ferrucci. This person says, dudes are bugging. Locks is the best group, hands down. Man, that is a big hot take for sure. And the reason why I think it's a big hot take is because I 100% disagree with that. I don't think the Locks, I can name probably 25 groups right now that are just better than the Locks. The problem with the Locks are on paper, they look like a great group, and in actual execution, they're not. Their albums are just not that good. They're really not. Like Money, Power, Respect, why is it so long? Why does it have so many tracks on it when I'm only bumping maybe a quarter of that album, just keeping it real? We Are the Streets, same thing. I think that's probably a little better than the album Money, Power, Respect. Same thing. I'm not really digging that album. Jadakiss can rap. Styles P can rap. Chic, he's the weakest of the three, but he can also rap. But especially those first two, they can really rap it on features. They're killers. They're great on features. You want to see their name on that feature list. When it comes to their albums, like their group album, come on, man. The Locks are not that good. Like, that's why I was shocked when everyone was saying a bunch of stuff similar to this statement after that Versus battle with Dipset, because it's just like you play their discography. You can't put that up with like UGK. You can't put that up with 3 6 Mafia. You can't put that up with, just so many people. Outkast. We can just keep going with Compton's Most Wanted, and it just goes on and on and on and on. So no, not even like a top 25 group, and I can just look at my wall and name a bunch of groups. EPMD, Ghetto Boys, oh my goodness, Gangstar. So I'm not gonna bore you all with that, but I disagree, but appreciate you nonetheless. Next up, we got questions by MF Doom saying Reasonable Doubt is better than anything in Nas's entire discography, but Nas has an overall, I'm assuming he meant to say better discography. So Reasonable Doubt, I'll disagree with that. I think that Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt is a great album. Personally, I probably wouldn't say it's my favorite. I'd say it's definitely in the top 3, probably my second favorite. But I think Nas is, for sure, Illmatic, I think, is a better body of work. And maybe even It Was Written is better than Reasonable Doubt. But I'm going to disagree with that. Reasonable Doubt is great, however. And then as far as an overall discography, whose is better, I'd probably go Nas too, especially with what he's been doing in the past few years, like with the King's Diseases and then Magic. As a rapper, he's still doing pretty great. Hit Boy is good with Nas. That pairing is good, and especially like when we get to like The Life Is Good in was that 2011, 2012, in the early 2010s, that was such an excellent album. So their discographies are pretty close in terms of ranking, I would say. Next up, we got someone named Merca Doom. Oh, so 2 Dooms back to back. Merca Doom, Project Pat equals top 5 all-time fire. Merca Doom. This is a hot take because, unfortunately, people don't talk about Project Pat. And why is that? Why don't they talk about Project Pat? Well, maybe it's because he's from the South. Maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe it's because, I think a lot of it's because he's from the South. I think a lot of it is maybe because he was in prison for a little while when, like, some of his albums came out, so he couldn't get as much of a buzz. Maybe that's another thing. Or maybe it's other things. But Project Pat is so great, and I don't really have a top 5, so it's hard. Like, I have my favorite rapper of all time. That would be Ice Cube, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's the best of all time because I don't think that's true. But to put top 5 status on Project Pat, hey, if someone if I was in a group and people were talking hip hop and there's one dude saying, or chick or whatever, saying Project Pat's top 5, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna just start clapping because I think this guy deserves his flowers. I think he is so great. I think his influence is still here. I think he can ride on any beat. His flow is second to none. His flow is one thing that he crafted, he innovated. People are still copying it to this day. He can still hop on a feature track and kill it. He's been rapping for over 25 years, so probably actually closer to 30 years. So he is so special, and Project Pat is so amazing, and I'm very happy that this person said that's a shout out to Merca Doom. Next up, we got someone named Tonin Hot Jola. I messed that up, but this person says Warren G is better than Dr. Dre as a producer. Major hot take, and that's a fat no. No way. I'm disagreeing with that. Maybe even, no, I don't know, that Locks take I really disagree with, but no way. First off, let's talk about it in just a very easy term. What albums can people name that Warren G has actually produced, right? So there's a lot of songs that Warren G has produced, and a lot of them are good. And most people, when you think of Warren G, you'd go ahead and say Regulate. Like, not only the song, but also the album. The album is great. The song is exceptional. He can still tour just off that song alone. That's how good it is. And rest in peace, Nate Dogg, who's a big contributor to that song. But on top of that, I mean, Dre, not only has he produced smash singles for the likes of a ton of hip-hop artists, but also pop artists and R&B, etc., but on top of that, he's exec produced a lot of albums. Now, go ahead and think about albums that Warren G has exec produced and had his hand in creating an entire album or having input and really shifting that entire album. And you're not going to be able to come up with really anything compared to Dre, like nothing. So in terms of an exec producer, Dre massacres. And in terms of just being on just a song perspective, just individual songs, Dr. Dre also massacres. Warren G's also his stepbrother. So shout out to that family tree right there. Incredible, legendary family tree. I'm going to have to disagree with that, but big shout out to Warren G. I mean, getting anyone up against Trey is, you're not going to win. I think he's the best producer of all time. That's one thing that I'm comfortable debating. But I know there's a lot of excellent producers out there, but hey, just because you're second or third or fourth or whatever best to Dre doesn't mean you're bad. That's just the GOAT. Next up, we got someone named A Wardrop 1. Tyler, the Creator, is a better West Coast rapper than The Game. That is a hot take, I'd say, and I think Tyler, the Creator, is a better artist than The Game, for sure. Tyler, the Creator, is one of those artists that when he stepped on the scene, he was definitely really polarizing, especially when he dropped Yonkers and he ate the roach and he blew up and all that stuff, and like his style was very different. Then he had Odd Future and they were like kind of crazy and like the whole group was wild. And the thing that was great about Tyler, the Creator, is he rapped, he produced, he even directed music videos. Like, he was a very versatile whatever artist. So artistry, Tyler, the Creator, easy over Game. As far as actual just rapping, we're talking about getting behind a microphone, spitting bars, doing all that. The Game is better than Tyler, the Creator. I mean, The Game, I think when it came to like the infant stages of his career, when you get to like documentary, and before that he had his project with JT the Bigga Figga, I think The Game was clearly like a weaker rapper, but then he started to get better. He started to work with other artists, and his whole career, like he's kind of shifting his flow and everything on other rappers. And it's actually kind of impressive. Whether you think that's like corny or whack or whatever, that's another thing. But it's impressive that he's able to do that with multiple flows and all that and still make really, really, really great music. So as far as a rapper, I think The Game is just so much better than Tyler, the Creator. But as far as an artist, it's not even close. Tyler, the Creator is a better artist than The Game. So I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that. But shout out to that A Wardrop. Next up, we got Riding Dirty 214. Shout out to him. He's dope. I already know, just looking at his name, I already know he's going to talk about someone from the South. So he says, Scarface is the GOAT. Nobody has been as consistent as him for as long as him. So Riding Dirty, shout out to you, bro. Scarface being the GOAT. So I'm not going to argue that. And this is kind of similar to like the Project Pat thing I was talking about. Like if I'm in a group with a bunch of hip-hop heads and someone goes ahead and whips out and says, if someone whips out and says like Scarface is the best rapper and whatever, like I'm going to just listen to the argument and I'm not going to fight you. I'm just going to say, yeah, those are good points. Like, yeah, you have a case. I'm just going to leave it at that. Because Scarface, when it comes to actual, the key word in this whole hot take that Riding Dirty is saying is consistent. And honestly, if you think about it, when you get to his early work with the Ghetto Boys all the way up until his solo discography that just, like his latest drop was Deeply Rooted, then he had the Deeply Rooted like extension project, then he's had like features and stuff, he still raps so good. He's so good, and he keeps it real, and he's all that and everything. So I'm not going to go ahead and disagree with that. I mean, as far as the GOAT, I don't know. I couldn't tell you like the hip hop rapper GOAT. I can go ahead and tell you the producer GOAT because I think that's Dre. As far as the rapper goes, it's just a really tough one for me to say. I'm not gonna go ahead and argue with you if you're gonna say Scarface is the greatest, because there's a big case to be made, and he's so good. He's so consistent. He might have the best discography of all time when we're talking about like from when he stepped on the scene till now. He doesn't miss. He's just so great. And big shout out to Scarface because he gets it done, man. He gets it big time done. But shout out. And those are the hot takes I'm going over today. So appreciate y'all. Keep them coming. I'm going to keep doing these. These are very fun. I just like doing these things off the dome, reading them, and it's fun connecting with y'all and seeing if you agree, disagree, whatever. It's all fun and games. So don't take it personal. Hit me up on Instagram and TikTok at Rappin' and Snackin'. Click an ad on this video if one pops up because it gets me paid and it costs you nothing. Hit my website up, like the video, subscribe to all that good stuff. I appreciate y'all. As always, I'm out of here.